So I'm going to show you how to go about chopping the vegetables, some of the vegetables that you can use in coleslaw. And we'll start, of course, with cabbage. Cabbage is the cole in coleslaw. And you can use red cabbage or you can use green cabbage to make coleslaw. Or a combination of the two is always pretty. So stand the cabbage on its core like this. And you'll need a big knife, a sharp knife to get through a cabbage. A French knife like this is great. Then cut straight down through the core. With your knife. And then cut one more time through the core. Put it on the cut side down. Cut again through the core. The core is tough, you don't want to eat that part, so just cut down and get as much of the core out as you can. Then put the cabbage down on its cut side and just start chopping. You're trying to make shreds. Cut as close together as you can because you want thin shreds. They're pretty to look at. You can see the waviness of the cabbage. They're crunchy to taste, and they hold their crunch even when they've been sitting for hours in a creamy dressing. But most food processors have discs that you attach to the food processor. The discs have holes in them that will shred vegetables. And they also have blades for slicing vegetables. But I found that I had better results when I used the slicing blade. So I'm going to put this on the food processor. Just seat it into place. Now I've cut the cabbage into pieces small enough to go into the feed tube of the food processor. So, with the slicing blade, you end up with shreds that are very similar to what we came up with when we cut them by hand, maybe a little bit smaller. If you don't have a food processor, or you don't want to go through all the trouble of setting one up and cleaning all the parts later, there's another easy way to grate cabbage for coleslaw, and that's with a box grater. Almost everybody has one of these in the kitchen. You want to use the large holes on the box grater. Cut the cabbage into a wedge and then just grate. Now this will give you pieces that are finer than you'll get if you shred the cabbage with a knife or use the slicing disc on a food processor. And they're not because they're smaller, they're not as crunchy as cabbage done the other way. So this isn't my favorite way to cut cabbage for coleslaw, but it's great if you like your cabbage really fine. Most coleslaws have carrots in them, and the box grater works very well for grating carrots. You can do it like this, and you'll get very fine pieces. But if you want longer shreds, cut the carrot into a longer piece, say about a 2-inch piece, and grate it lengthwise. And you can see that you get nice shreds, and those make a great addition to coleslaw. They're colorful and tasty as well. So I suggest, even though it may be cold out right now, that you get out your knife and you start experimenting and find out what a great dish coleslaw can be all year long.